Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Red Vest Live here in Geneva at the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Conference. As part of this series of discussions, Red Vest Live, we are discussing matters of importance to the humanitarian world, matters and issues that are impacting our global response as an international Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, and where national societies from around the world are active in addressing these issues. Today, as part of this Red Vest Live, we will focus on the crucial issue of migration and displacement. And we will discuss with our colleagues here today how national societies around the world are addressing different aspects of this global, multifaceted challenge. Today we are very pleased to be joined by two colleagues from two very different regions here in Geneva. First, we have Sultan Ahmed, the Deputy Secretary General from Bangladesh Red Crescent Society, and of course Makan Boubacar Sisau from Mali Red Cross. And Makan, if it is okay, I will turn to you first. One of the things we hear that national societies do a lot is support people through humanitarian service points. There is a booth upstairs with humanitarian service points, Inaction. We hear about these a lot. We know national societies are implementing humanitarian service points. But for our audience today, can you explain to someone who doesn't know, what is a humanitarian service point and why are they important today? Thank you, Makan.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zig, for these questions. The humanitarian service point is a global strategy of FRC that has goal to bring assistance near the beneficiary. The beneficiary can be migrants, they can be IDPs, they can be also refugees. A humanitarian service point is a neutral space on which those beneficiaries can get assistance, a package of assistance at the same place. It can be mobile and it can be also a fixed. A humanitarian service point is a very good strategy today to bring this assistance near this beneficiary I have talked about.
Thank you very much. And so, what are some of the services that a humanitarian service point might offer in Mali? What are some of the things that migrants or refugees can access at a humanitarian service point?
Good. The services are, we have several services. That is what I call the package of service. At a humanitarian service point, a migrant or a refugee can get services about food, about non-items, food, and about also RFL service, psychosocial support, health service, first aid also. Even if the humanitarian service have no response for a need identified, it can do also what we call a referral, safe referral to other actors. So it's a package of assistance the beneficiary can get at the same place. It's safe, it's neutral, and it's also operated by only national society.
Okay, thank you very much. One of the other themes that we've been discussing a lot when it comes to migration is that migrants are not alone, that the Red Cross and Red Crescent is there to support them throughout their journey. We know that migration is ultimately a cross-country issue. It happens across international borders. We know that migrants are moving along migration routes. It is not just an issue for one country alone. And for us as the International Red Cross and Red Crescent movement, it is not just an issue for one national society alone. So with this issue, how do you work with other national societies to have a joined up approach to supporting migrants?
Okay, thank you. Before talking about international or external coordination, I want to remind that in my country, in Mali, we have today more than 15 HSP through my country. We do internal coordination between those HSPs also to avoid duplication and to permit also to the beneficiary to get assistance on time. We for other national society, we work also every day we for our border countries like Mauritania, like Senegalese, to coordinate the assistance to the beneficiary. For example, when Malian migrants or other country migrants which supposed to transit with Mali are leaving Mauritania to Mali, we will coordinate with our colleague of Mauritania to explain us what are their needs, which nationality, when will they leave the Mauritania to reach Mali, and we will take some dispositions to bring assistance to those migrants. It's peer-to-peer experience exchange, information exchange, also and tools also exchange between us for this kind of coordination.
Thank you very much, Makan. Very interesting experiences from Mali, and it's good to know that migrants are not alone, but national societies are also not alone. I would now like to turn to Sultan, the Deputy Secretary General from Bangladesh Red Crescent Society. Another issue that is coming up a lot in the conversations here at the International Conference is, of course, climate. And so we have climate and migration and displacement, two major themes of this conference. And there will be an event today focused on this intersection, so-called climate displacement. This is something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily understand. What is this issue of climate displacement? So maybe from your perspective as a leader of the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society, what does climate displacement look like in Bangladesh? How are communities affected?
So thank you for inviting me. I think I will simply say that climate migration simply means migration caused by the climate change, such as cyclone, floods, heat waves. And Bangladesh is one of the few countries that has been affected by this climate change issue. We have a lot of people that internally moving from one city to another, mostly from the coastal areas to the larger cities, capital of the Bangladesh, like Dhaka. So it's becoming a growing concern for us in many ways. It's putting a lot of pressure on the livelihood issues. This is an economic pressure. It's putting pressure on the health services, access to health services. So it has become a growing concern for us overall.
Thank you. That's, of course, a concern for Bangladesh, which has always been a country that is highly exposed to natural hazards, and a country that it sounds like the impacts of climate change are intensifying some of those hazards. You mentioned storms and floods. And so as communities are moving, and as you say, there is more pressure being placed on the services that the government and other actors can provide, how can the Bangladesh Red Crescent Society play a role there? How can the many volunteers that you have do something different to help on such a complicated issue?
I think we already we have been playing a very critical role, important role in Bangladesh. So Bangladesh Red Crescent Society is one of the leading humanitarian organization which has presence in all 64 districts in Bangladesh. We have about 700,000 volunteers, and of them at least 75,000 specially trained on the subject. 50% of them are female and 50% are male. So we have a very strong grassroots presence in the rural areas of Bangladesh, and they are the driving force. They are the frontliner of our response against any kind of climate change issues, public health concern. So we're already there, and our people are working. And I think I must also mention that in Bangladesh Red Crescent Society is now the Secretariat of Anticipatory Action on climate change issues. So we're playing a leading role along with 45 international organizations, local organizations. So I think we are not only leading in terms of operation preparedness, but also knowledge. The organization has become a knowledge resource organization, and we are playing critical role in this regard.
Okay, that's very impressive, the combination of many hundreds of thousands of volunteers, many highly specialized trained, but also not just being at the front line, but also really trying to better understand this issue, really trying to disseminate knowledge. And it's
absolutely
fantastic to hear that Bangladesh is at the forefront of the global response to an issue that I am sure will become increasingly pressing for many, many countries around the world. Thank you very much, Sultan. Thank you very much, Makan. I think before we finish this Red Vest Live today, migration and displacement is, of course, a critical humanitarian topic for the movement, for the world today. If there are any final messages or thoughts you would like to share before we close, anything final from your side, Makan?
Okay, thank you for invited me for this side. I think that one of the advantage of SHP are that the services are flexible. They are based only on the need of the migrant. So we have to give the assistance for the need, only for the need of the migrant. Also, SSP are an important tool today which can help all the movement or other organization to help these vulnerable people like IDPs, like migrants, and also refugees. That is the message I need to pass. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Makan. And Sultan, if there are any final thoughts from your side as a leader of BDRCS?
I think I would share something from our own experience, because the whole climate-induced migration is a lived experience for us. So we are actually learning, by doing at the grassroots level. So I would say that there's a clear need for legal and policy-oriented protection for the people affected by climate change. At the moment, there are, I think, certain rules that protect, but that may not be enough. That is one thing that I think not only movement, but outside movement, organizations that are working outside movement, we need to work collaboratively. Second issue, I think this whole climate-induced migration, I think developed nation has certain role. We always say that climate justice should be ensured. So I would expect that the developed nation would play important role on the issues of ensuring funding, technical support, capacity building. So without this, I think we cannot offer services to the people in a maximized manner. So that's, I think, my expectation.
Thank you very much, Sultan, and that's very much, I hope, for everyone listening and here in Geneva, one of the expectations of this conference is that we bring the frontline experience from Bangladesh, the frontline experience from Mali to this global conversation here in Geneva. Thank you very much for taking the time. I know you have busy schedules this week. It's fantastic to hear about this both local and global response that the Red Cross, Red Crescent has to very different issues, but very much keeping volunteers and our humanity at the heart. So good luck for the rest of the week. Thank you for your time, and thank you to everyone for joining this Red Vest Live.
Thank you so much. Thank you.